Welcome to MSP Voice, the weekly show for MSPs by MSPs. Brought to you by MSP 360, the #1 cross-platform cloud backup. Learn more at msp360.com. This is MSP Voice. Hello and welcome to MSP Voice. This is episode number 64. Today I am pleased to be joined by Esther Deutsch out of New York City. She is with RCS Professional Services. Fun, interesting interview. She's actually starting a marketing peer group for MSPs. So there's information on that in the show notes on mspvoice.com. Be sure to check that out if you haven't yet. So some housekeeping. Again, mspvoice.com is your source for all things MSP Voice. Had a great webinar last week with Synchro. It was no slides. It was all demo. So they talk about the integration they have with MSP 360, Managed Backup, and then went through a whole bunch of different stuff that the platform is able to do. Again, it's a combined PSA, RMM, even remote access. So Synchro has a lot to offer, so definitely check out that webinar. Again, from a guest perspective, I'm always looking for guests, so you too can be on here. Just click the Be the Next Guest at mspvoice.com, fill out the form, and I will get you scheduled up. It's really easy, only takes about 30 minutes of your time. And then also be sure to check out our sponsor, MSP 360, msp360.com, especially if you're looking for backup services. So a couple of things in the news this week. One thing I found is eChannel News and ECN TV. They've already done one survey. They're doing another one, essentially what the channel says about backup and disaster recovery, a topic that's obviously near and dear to my heart. So you can actually go and there's a link in the show notes, but you can go and click to register and get the survey, the first one they did. And then, of course, if you keep scrolling down, they're asking for a next survey. In terms of, you can click on that and start taking that survey as well. So of course I did register, downloaded the survey. It's got some useful information in it. Can't share the whole thing with you because you have to register in order to get that. One stat that I thought was interesting here is how satisfied are you with the profits you are currently making with BDR? So most people, about 59%, are satisfied. But then there's over 10% that are somewhat or dissatisfied. And then even more that are somewhat satisfied or very satisfied. So it would be better, I think, if people were very satisfied if that number were higher. Especially, we're talking about profit and margins and all those types of things. So interesting stat there. Be sure to check it out. Next up is kind of an interesting thing. I've subscribed to this for a while now. It's called Channel Weekly. From CJ Media Solutions. There's a link to register for the weekly email in the show notes. But CJ puts together this great kind of snippet. He sends it out on Sundays. You get it. You can read it first thing Monday. One of the things I like is that he includes a quote each week from someone in the channel. This week just happened to be Dawn Sizer, who's a previous guest of MSP Voice. So Dawn from Third Element. She's also a member of the ASCII group. So, if you want to be quoted, definitely check it out, get some more exposure for you. But CJ basically, he goes through kind of like I do and talks about some of the, news of the week in terms of the channel, specifically for MSPs and those types of things. So it's a good email to check out. All you have to do is click on the registration link, fill out the form, and then you'll start getting it on a weekly basis. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and now turn it over to the interview. Again, Esther, fun guest out of New York City. Definitely, if you're interested, if you have marketing people and you want them to be more involved and get some information from their peers, check out the information in the show notes about the marketing peer group that they're starting. But other than that, have a great week, everybody. Maybe I will see you in New Jersey at the Robin Robbins Roadshow. Have a good one. Hello and welcome to MSP Voice. Today I am pleased to be joined by Esther Deutsch with RCS Professional Services out of New York City. How you doing, Esther?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Good. New York City. That's pretty awesome. And you guys are like right there in Manhattan, right?
That's it. We're on 58th and 2nd Ave.
Oh, cool. So tell us about RCS Professional Services and what it is that you guys do.
Sure. We're RCS Professional Services. As you mentioned, we're an IT managed service provider here in New York City. offices, headquarters here, and as well as one office in Atlanta in Georgia.
Okay.
And we outsource IT services and basically technology solutions to small businesses, mostly in tri-state area, but also out in Atlanta.
Okay. And, I was looking at some of your history. RCS kind of started, back in the, I guess, early 90s as like a computer store in Manhattan.
That's totally accurate. We actually began as a computer and hardware store here, which some of our clients now still remember shopping at. And then in 1999, when the industry, only a little after I was born, when the industry kind of moved to managed services, we sort of transitioned, and now we are known as RCS Professional Services, and we are fully in the managed service space.
Okay, yeah, and as you alluded to, you did not found the company right around the time you were being born.
Correct.
So you're the operations manager at RCS.
That's correct. Very lucky to work with a wonderful leadership team, and our company was founded by Jeffrey Tebele, who's our president and CEO currently.
Okay, so as an operations manager, what does that mean? What do you get to do?
So I'm sure I don't just speak for myself when I say that I get to do a lot of things. I was going to say my favorite, but I kind of enjoy it all. I guess most of my time right now is focused around sales, development, marketing, and that sort of thing. But I also get to sometimes take part in the HR efforts and some general operational account management functions. So it's really fun. I get to wear a lot of hats, and I really enjoy that.
Cool. I know a lot of MSPs out there, they struggle with sales and marketing. When you ask them, it's like, there's one area.
I can't imagine that. It's really hard to believe.
There's one area, if you think one thing you could improve, what do you want to do? It's like, oh, we need better sales and marketing. So what are you doing are there some interesting things you're doing on the marketing front for RCS or for the MSP community?
Yeah, so we're definitely in that group. I was just kidding when I said I couldn't believe that. In fact, I'll just start right from most recently. We launched a marketing peer group, which is we have a couple from Canada and other cities and states and countries. Well, not other countries yet, but we basically meet once every quarter live, and we just share best practices, ideas, what's working, experiences, and sort of created our own little community.
Okay.
And so we have 10 MSPs now involved, and we've only done one live meeting so far, but it's been a really, really great, initiative so far, and we're excited to keep growing that and hopefully bring on a couple more companies as well.
Now, live meeting, is that like an online live meeting, kind of like what we're doing
So we
now?
actually meet. We actually travel. Okay. Yeah. We've been traveling, and it's, like I said, it's been really great so far. We're looking forward to continuing to launch it. Our next meeting is going to be in January at North Carolina.
Okay.
At one of our members' companies. So we take turns hosting it, and then we do one phone call, sort of like this video call in between the live meetups. So that's one thing we've been doing. As far as our actual marketing efforts here, we do a lot of social media posting and marketing and content, sharing.
Yep. Content is king.
Yeah. So we're always working on that and hoping to do more of it in the future, but that's something we're starting to do now. We do some email campaigns. I personally write a monthly newsletter that we send out, one for all our clients and then one for a lot of people in our community and targets and things like that. And then we also do a lot of events. That's something that I feel passionate about and have some experience with.
Okay.
So we do a lot of like lunch and learns, like around cybersecurity or other topics that are of interest. Last year we did a big event with Dropbox at their headquarters.
Okay.
And that was a really fun collaboration and people loved it, asking questions, seeing the product live, things like that, meeting at their office, at the headquarters, and that's a really cool space.
Cool.
And then I guess most uniquely, one of the things we also started to do is Jeff is actually a huge Phish fan, like the band.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
So we launched like a Phish networking group, and that's been crazy. So we're hoping that maybe down the line we'll get to be the IT company that only works with Phish Phans. But that's in the long-term marketing.
That might be a little narrow.
Yeah, well, we'll get there. So.
Yeah, because I was going to ask about verticals, and it sounds like your vertical is Phish Phans.
Seriously, that's definitely our long-term goal. So that's in the 5-year plan. So stay tuned.
Just real quick back on the marketing on the peer group. Now, is this something that if people are interested, it's free to join, and
100% free to join.
Okay.
There's no agenda. There's nobody kind of sponsoring or pushing a product. It's really just to help each other. Our company is part of a general peer group with literally competitors in the city.
Yeah.
And they meet, and we found that to be incredibly, aside from the friendships that form, which are themselves beneficial. And it's just the knowledge share, just talking to people who do it. Every time I meet with other MSP people, even like yourself, even if they don't have an actual MSP, it's like you just breathe, like you don't even realize you're holding your breath, and you're like, oh my God, you're doing it too, really? Like, your customers also call, they're like, I need help finding my mouse, So it's just so great to be able to talk to other people, share, and hopefully get insight and advice, that has to do with the industry, with people who are doing it.
Okay.
So yeah.
And then you'll send me information for the show notes that I can include if people are interested, so they can contact you.
Absolutely. It's geared towards, specifically companies who are putting resources and financial and personnel into marketing, into their marketing efforts, and have that some kind of designated resource. So we'd love to have, more people participate.
So what you're looking for are people that have a dedicated marketing function at their company, at their MSP.
Exactly.
And if you're a one-man shop, even though sometimes you wear the marketing hat, maybe it's
Exactly. For now, anyway.
Yeah. So understanding, you guys are in New York City, Manhattan, tri-state area.
Yeah.
What are some of the sales challenges or even marketing challenges you guys have working in that market?
Sure. I like to look at it as an opportunity, not really a challenge, but I think some might define it as such. Just the level of competition. One of the first questions I got at our first meeting recently was, who's your competition? Know your competition, and everyone says that. And it's true. But, our competition is, there's one door down on the right, there's one door down on the left, and there's four doors down behind me. So, it's never ending. I think that in a way it's great because we have more people to learn from and share from. And there's also that much more opportunities. There's that much more people who need us. So I think that there's room for all of us. And, we each do different things well. But that's definitely, it can be a challenge too, just because, we know what we do better, different than others, but just translating that to the greater public and reaching, the right people in that way it could be a challenge. I would say that's one. And then the other is just, there's a lot of layers in New York. Just as far as, getting to the right people. I'm from a small town, so I can tell you that it's just a little bit different. Where I'm from, you go up to a house and they're like, please come in, like, please, can you stay longer? Tell me more about you. Don't go yet, And here it's like 2 minutes. You want 2 minutes? I don't have 2 minutes. I don't have 2 minutes for you. What are you telling me? What are you doing? So just a little bit different mentality. But it creates, just more fun.
No, hey, it's interesting. But understanding the competition and those types of things, does RCS specialize in any particular verticals? Is that something that you guys focus on, or?
Sure. We definitely cater to more than one vertical. Like I said, we're not yet just servicing Phish Phans, but excited for that to occur and me to answer this question differently. We'll create the new vertical called Phish.
Okay.
But outside of that, we do really really just love working with hospitality clients.
Okay.
So like restaurant chains and hotels, and that is simply because we find that the culture, it's a really good fit culture-wise with the hospitality angle. A couple of our help desk members are out in Georgia, and their hospitality level is amazing.
Yeah.
Southern hospitality.
Southern charm,
it's really, really great. In fact, over the last couple of years, one of the changes we made in the company was having a help desk manager out there. And he started out as an engineer and help desk member, and it's been a great transition. But I think that wait, sorry, what was the question again?
No, it was just well, I was asking about verticals, and you were talking about
so the
hospitality industry.
Yeah.
There's no shortage of hospitality in New York City.
So there was the hospitality component, and then also just the mission critical. where I think they really appreciate having, and need really, because they're servicing a lot of times 24 hours.
Yeah.
And they can have downtime because they're servicing people on an ongoing basis, real clients. So I think that gives us a really great opportunity to show our strength as far as being responsive and proactive, and, keeping them up and running all the time so that they're always in business. And I think they really can see the benefits of an MSP provider and one like us that in that industry. So it's kind of been great, on both sides. It gives us an opportunity to showcase who we are and what we bring to the table, and they've been able to receive it. But we do service many verticals, but that's been one strength, I think. And area that I really love.
Speaking, understanding, from your perspective, you're not the founder CEO, but you do this you're operations manager. If there's somebody out there that's looking to get started in services in general, hey, I can be an MSP. There's nothing to it. Do you have any advice based on your experiences and what you've seen?
Sure. So it's funny you say that, because I'd always thought about running businesses, and I had the opportunity to form and run a nonprofit, and I had never thought about IT, ever. And there were many reasons why I thought I shouldn't have my own company, and still think that. But IT wasn't one of them. So I would say there's probably a million other and one things, even though I like to think I know it all, that I probably don't know about, that I'd have to consider informing, and that I think somebody else would probably too. There's probably a lot of hidden surprises. That being said, I would say that it doesn't matter, as in there always is. And if you feel that it's right for you, and it makes sense with what then kind of you're always jumping in on some level, I mean, I jumped into sales and marketing. I don't have an education background in it, but I hear that that's not uncommon in this. So that's reassuring. But I think that it's more about your passion, as that alongside your will and determination to succeed. That's the most important. So if you have that in place, then you've waited too long to start. I would also say that, you're always stronger together, and whoever whether you think they can help you or not, they can help you in some way. And so tap into whoever it is around you, resource wise, and or create your own, sort of like what we're doing. Yeah, I guess so. And after just one meeting, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need this. So that was actually not my idea. It was Jeff's idea, but it's been really, really helpful and fun to see it to fruition. I would say just, however you can, even if it's not a formal peer group, tap into people around you and resources. And
I was going to ask about that from RCS perspective, in terms of the MSP community, obviously, you're spearheading this marketing, peer group. But what about, RCS in general? Are they, you guys participate in a lot of different community events? Are you in peer groups, those types of things? And
sure.
Do you have any recommendations?
I mean, we try to participate in whatever we can. There's always balancing the learning with the implementation. So we try to, learn a little, implement a little, learn a little, implement a little, and keep going and improving. And there's always room for that. So, because you could I've learned also in New York City, you could spend all day at conferences and networking events. Which is awesome because there's so many opportunities, but then again, there's always the flip side of it of, having the time to put it into action. And you obviously need both. So I would say that we do participate in the ConnectWise events. We use ConnectWise here, other internal agent, and we do a lot of their user groups. I personally participate in the user groups, the local ones. And that's been a great community for us. And then we most recently added ourselves to the rankings of MSP 501.
Oh, so, great. Congratulations.
Thank you. This was our first year, so that was very exciting. So we did attend the conference in DC, and Jeffrey actually spoke there. So that was really fun. Yeah. And I guess, like I said, we try to do whatever we can with the time that we have.
All right, so are you going to IT Nation Connect in Orlando?
Yes.
You'll be there?
Yes. I don't know if I'll be there, but definitely some of us or one of us from this company will be.
Okay. Well, if you happen to get to go, look me up. I'll be there. So
that'd be awesome. Yeah, it'd be great. All right, I will.
So I'm going to switch gears completely real quick here and talk a little bit about technology. And, I just want your perspective on whether it's work related or not, on what technologies are you most excited about, whether it's something that's available today or something in the near future? When you think about technology, what do you like?
Sure. Well, for me, I'm going to go straight to artificial intelligence, even though we don't deal so much with it.
Oh, yeah.
But everybody does, and everybody will, I think,
Okay.
soon enough. So I would go to that side of it. I just think that the ability for it to make people's lives easier, which is really what we're all in the business of, we're really customer centric, and we're focused around, helping people live better lives through technology. And I think that that's just like, with us, sometimes it's a little more indirect, where we're helping the CEO do his business better so he could live his life better, through technology. Whereas, as artificial intelligence, I think right now with some of the new things that are coming out, and I look every day in the healthcare industry and just in general, just to see the way in which they're helping people lead, better, like more meaningful lives is for me like amazing, and then like just the areas that I use, like with Uber apps and safety and and I also mentioned that most recently I actually got the opportunity to lead a coding camp in Belize, in Belmopan, Belize, for some high school students there. It was with a nonprofit organization. It was really, really great. And their end of their capstone project was to create a product or service that uses technology to help, and had to design a website. And these were high school girls, or 42 high school girls, and things they came up with were incredible. And some of the things they came up with were things that we already have here in the US that they had just never seen yet. And they were amazing ideas. Like one of them was like a GPS safety feature, and the stories they had and the reasons. One of them created some kind of medical device because she said she always got seizures, and when she had one, she wasn't able to get to the hospital in time. And she nearly died. So, just the ways, the innovation and the things that people and that they were doing to make a difference, I think for me is like, that's really what we're all in the business of. And I think that's so meaningful. And so that for me is very exciting.
Cool. Yeah. And it's great to just kind of, people talk about thinking outside of the box, and sometimes it's really difficult for us too, because we've been in this box for so long.
Yeah.
And when you go somewhere like that, and you just give them a little bit of a nudge and say, hey, here's, and then the ideas that they can come up with is amazing. So.
It is amazing. It is amazing. And it's great to we get to do some of that, in our own way. So it's really fun.
That's great. Any technology that worries you?
Well, obviously, there's all the security breaches and things that we're seeing, and the hackers are getting smarter.
And
and so
MSPs are a big target.
Yeah, and just staying on top of that. Thankfully, I'm very confident in our team, so I don't worry as much about us. Maybe naively, but maybe it's good I'm in the marketing seat as much as our clients. But I think just staying on top of what's going on and educating everyone, ourselves and others, and putting all the preventive measures in case authentication and whatever else is really just as much as we could do. We can only do what we could do, and it's like anything else. As long as we protect ourselves in all the ways we know how, we're not negligent. We should be okay.
Yeah,
and stay on top of it. So.
Well, you were talking about artificial intelligence, and and I agree, the potential there to do some great things is great. But then a lot of times I've talked to people, they're like, what are you most worried about? And they're like, artificial intelligence, because it can do great things, but it can also do some really bad things. Especially from the security and privacy. A lot of people are concerned about that. It seems like people are somewhere on the spectrum of a device in every room that's always on listening to living in a cabin out in the woods. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said, all we could do is, educate ourselves and put whatever measures in place that we know of, and then just pray.
Yep.
So.
Cool. So it's time for the rapid fire round.
Great.
This is meant to be fun.
All right. Take care. Nice knowing you.
It's not a test, but just kind of get a little bit of insight. So just first thing that comes to your mind, as I go through this, I'm only going to do 5. So it's just 5 quick ones. All right. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Apple or Android?
Android.
Okay. Mac, Linux, or Windows?
Windows.
Amazon, Azure, or something else for cloud services?
Something else.
Okay. Backups, local, cloud, or both?
Cloud.
Okay. And finally, I don't know if you've ever had to do this, but which is worse, printer support or vendor cold calls?
Printer support.
Okay. Because I wasn't sure if you may not have to do it in the field, but you might have to do it in the office. So.
I'll do any of it. I actually love the calls, so it's just more of a challenge,
Okay,
so I'll take
cool.
printer. I need to. I was gonna say both, but there was no option, so we'll add that for the next.
Oh yeah, well, no, you gotta choose one. It's like I said, it's just meant to be fun.
Worst of two evils. Yeah.
It's not scientific. So Esther, before we go, any other words of wisdom you have for anybody else out there in the MSP world?
I mean, just feel free to reach out. We love to help, and we love to share. So here for you, and thanks for having me. This was great.
Oh, it's been a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm going to include information on your peer group in the show notes, so we'll
Awesome.
have that. And I really appreciate you being on. And like I said, if you're going to be in Orlando at the end of the month, let me know.
Yeah, I'd love to see you. That'd be great. Hope to see you all there.
All right, have a good one.
Thank you. You too.